Good morning to all the students. First of all, I have to wish you all happy Christmas. And all of you keep your phones on mute because he's going to give us the presentation. We have an excellent speaker, and he is Sri MVL Narasimha Rao Garu. He is MCOM, MBA, LLB, advocate and tax advisor. He is dealing in income tax and GST. And he has a varied experience. Actually, he has started his practice from 2000, and he is now for the last 22 years, he has got a good clientele of, I think, is more than 500 clientele, and his specialization tax awareness program conducted by All India Federation of Tax Practitioners, trainings for tax practitioners in the state level, preparation of project reports, Governing Council of AP Tax Bar Association, Governing Council of All India Federation of Tax Practitioners, and member in Twin Cities Tax Practitioners Association, member in AP Sales Tax Bar Association, where I wanted to add, I was the vice president of that. It was in 2000, sir. MVL Garu.
Sir.
Okay, so member in Shantri Ashram Charitable Society, member in Association of Tax Lawyers New Delhi, president in Telangana State, and
Yes,
regular speaker and advisor at Sneha TV and Doordarshan, regular speaker in industrial associations, as financial and tax consultant and promoter of RK Consultants organization for the last 18 years has been taking care of the tax and this direct and indirect taxes, and more than 200 firms he is working for, and worked as a manager accounts in different levels, and instrumental in preparation of DSR and preparation of various bank reports, taxation structure, project financial reports, direct, indirect taxes, whatnot. I mean, he is a person. So with this, you know, we have a speaker with his vast knowledge, and he's going to take up the very, very important topic of reverse charge mechanism under GST. It is also called as a RCM. Sir, now the floor is handed over to you to take up the session, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a good introduction for me, sir. Thank you very much for that. Good morning, friends. Good morning, students. Yes, good morning.
Sir, we have asked them to mute the phones and sir, Narasimha Rao Garu. Endukante last varaku we keep them, phones on the mute and speakers on mute. Okay, sir.
Right.
Because once they open it, there will be a sort of a disturbances. What we observe practical. Okay, sir.
Yes, right. Good morning, students. Today we are going to speak about the reverse charge mechanism. Section 9(3) of the GST Act. Section 9(3) of the GST Act. So before going to the 9(3), I give a small provisions of the constitutional provisions. This is very important. This section 9(3) comes under levy and collections of section 9 of the GST Act. Section 9, levy and collections. So who has to collect the taxes? Who has to collect the taxes? The taxes has been collected by the only authority. The authority means who? The central government, state government, and local authority. This is very important. For no one is to be collect no one is to be collect except this federal taxation system, that is central government, state government, and local authority. This is a very important. Article 265 for only no tax shall be levied and collected except by the authority of the law. Levy of tax must be within the legislative power. This is very important. Note that in your notes. Coming to the next. I don't want to give all the 265 to Article 289. So a lot of confusion for you. I go for only the 265. And coming to the 269A, I come to this. This is a very important amendment of 2016. levied and collection of goods and service tax in course of the interstate trade and commerce. So this is Amendment Act. This is the article. If before going to any act or any law has to be amended to constitutional law. So this is Article 216A, levied and collection of the goods and service tax in course of interstate trade and commerce. Goods and service tax is collected and levied by the central government of India. So this is a very important article. I don't want to go for all these 260 and 267, 768. These are the part of the taxation of the constitution. Next, I'm going to these articles. I leave it this. Coming to the constitutional provision, taxation systems in India, tax plays the contribution of the total revenues. The Indian tax system is called a three-tier federal structure, which includes central government, state government, and local authority. So coming to this constitutional provision relating to two types of the taxes. There is a direct tax and indirect taxes. So what is the meaning of the direct taxes? That comes under what? The legally imposed the impact of the money burden and incidence of the same person. This is here I mean to say, if you go for income tax, who has paid the taxes? Ourselves, the in person. It comes to the wealth tax, house tax, salaries, capital gains, income tax, all this amount paid by the ourselves only is independent. So comes under direct tax. That means we are paying the directly to the government. The legally imposed impact of money burden of the incidents are the same person. That is called indirect tax. That is comes to income tax and wealth tax and house tax, salaries and whatever. Coming to now we are going to the indirect taxes. Today it's our subject is that indirect taxes. It is imposed on one person, but paid partly and wholly the another person. The impact of the incidence of the tax are different person. Indirect taxes can be shifted. Another person, that is the GST and excise duty. So now it's a GST. Already we have discussed more things earlier. There is so many taxes. Now we can accumulate in all the taxes come to the one tax structure, that is a GST, goods and service taxes. Excise duty also now it is there. While importing the goods, it comes to we have to pay the excise duty. Earlier also excise duty is, now also is excise duty also is there. So indirect taxes. Indirect tax means you collect from some other person and pay to the government. Whereas in a direct taxes, we ourselves has to pay to the government. That is income tax. These are all indirect tax, collect and pay to the government. This is indirect tax. Are you catch my point or not? Yes. Next, coming to now we are going to the today's topic. Just before that, who has to collect the taxes? Only the government can collect the taxes. That is very important. Levy and collection. Only the right to collect the only government, state government, central government, and local authority. There is a two type of taxes, that is indirect taxes and direct taxes. Direct taxes comes to income tax. Ourselves, we are directly paid to the government. Indirect taxes, we collect them from the another person, the third person, and pay to the government. Now it's a third system. Section 9, we are going to the levy and collections. What is for? Now it's two types of the charges. That is a normal charge. Another one is the reverse charge. Reverse charge. Now we are today's topic is that it's a reverse charge. So what is the forward charge and what is the reverse charge? This is very two types of this. This is very important. Supplies, goods and services are both a recipient. The recipient make the payment along with the GST to the supplier. The supplier is liable to pay the GST amount to the government, which is collected from the recipient, and section 9(1) and 9(2), it comes under forward charge. That is called a normal charge. Normal charge mechanism and RCM, reverse charge mechanism. Now, generally, you used to take, suppose you buy something to the in market, suppose your mobile, you purchase the mobile. So supplier, what he gives the one invoice, that was suppose say the mobile is the 10,000, so they charge of 18%. 1,800 rupees, that is called as a tax portion, GST portion. Who has to pay? That's a regular mechanism. The supplier itself has to pay to the government. That is called 18%. Suppose say 1,800 rupees to pay the government. That is called section 9(1) speaks forward charge. That is normal charge mechanism. Normal charge mechanism. That is called a forward charge. Also, we can call the forward charge as well as is the normal charge. So this is the regular basis we are doing. The system, why it is the government has to charge it in the reverse charge mechanism. What is the reason it's behind? Why it is the reverse charge? The reason is that when it comes to the reverse charge, it's an easy collection of the tax and easy administration. That is the first point. Easy collection of tax and easy administration. Huge amount of tax can be collected with the few big taxable persons. So there is no evasion of the taxes. There is no evasion of the taxes. Tax revenue. Minimize the tax loss, the threshold limit. These are the basic. Actually, there's no evasion. There is no evasion. Suppose the reverse charge, it comes to. I come to that point also. So why it's a forward charge regularly we are collecting and paying the taxes to the government. That is regularly. But coming to the reverse charge. Now supplier supplies the goods to both the recipient. Here it comes to the supplier has to liable to the recipient liable to pay the taxes. Who's the recipient? Who's the recipient? The recipient. Those goods later, so whatever goods it's purchasing from the supplier, he's the recipient. Here the question is that the recipient has liable to pay the taxes to the directly to the government. So suppose there is a specific, it's a registered person. Suppose I come to that point, that's who has to liable to take the reverse charge, and that also I come to that. First you come to the, you know that what is reverse charge? What is reverse charge? The meaning of reverse charge. Section 9394 covers this reverse charge under GST law. 93 it speaks supply of the goods and services both and recipient. The recipients make the payment without GST to the supplier. Supplier is not paying the taxes here. Who has to pay the recipient? That means who has receiving the goods or services is liable to pay the taxes. Suppose here it's my question is that, sir, I'm a registered dealer, so but I don't have any registration. But how it comes to where kaisa karna hai payment? How to pay them, make the payment? This is no need to the payment. See, it's a very clear. If a recipient also it comes to the unregistered dealer, supplier also unregistered dealer, there is no question of the GST law here, GST taxes. Where it is the registered dealer supplying the goods to the recipient is the unregistered dealer, then there is no tax on that cases also. Now, so section 9394 speaks about the reverse charge. 93 general levy and collection of the taxes. There is a section 9 speaks of GST Act, section 91, 92, 93, 94, 95. It's a 91, it comes to the regular, it's a normal charge. If you're collecting and pay the directly by the supplier, that is 92, it comes to the central tax petroleum crude, and this is comes under its recommendations of the crude oil motor spirit known as petrol, natural gas, aviation tribunal. This is between the notified by the government and recommendations of the council. This is still is their non-GST goods. Petroleum liquor still it's a this is a non-GST goods. The 92 section speaks that only. So 91, go for 91. Subject to provisions of section 91, they shall be levied and called central goods and services. Goods and services, so both except the supply of alcoholic liquor and human consumption, the value of determined in section 15, such a rates. There is a prescribed rates. There's a prescribed rates. That is a section speak. So maybe it's a maximum rate of tax into the GST law, it's a 40%, including cess and all this. Now, the government notified the government by the recommendations of the council, collect the such a manner may be prescribed, shall be paid by the taxable person. Again, I have come to the very clear section 9(1), it comes to NMC. NMC means normal mechanism charge. NCM, RCM means reverse charge mechanism. NCM means normal charge mechanism. So earlier there is no, in VAT regime, there is no that system. Now here it comes to the, in GST scenario, it comes to RCM. So every supplier collect and pay the taxes directly to the government. That is a regular mechanism. That is section 9(1) speaks that one, 9(2). Now we are coming to our topic, today's topic, section 9(3). Section 9(3). Government made the recommendations of the council by notification specify the categories of this supply of the goods and services are both the tax on which shall be paid in reverse charge basis by the recipient. Such a goods or services are both all the provisions of the act shall apply to the such a recipient if he is the person liable to paying the tax in relation of the supply of such a goods and services are both. Sir, ye kya hai, sir? What is this? Again, it's a 9(3). Already supplier is paying the very easy manner. They collect and make the payment to the government. What is this system? 9(3). The government intention is that no evasion of the taxes. So easy to collect the money from the recipient through cash, not in credit. You cannot adjust the credit. That also I come to that. That's what is credit ledger, what is the cash ledger, what is the liability ledger. This also that also I will explain to that. Now it coming to the section 9(3). Section 9(3) means I go for that generally. In normal due course, generally there is a receiver, supplier, and government. Suppose government to collection taxes. Receiver means the recipient. Supplier, the supply the goods. In regular course of business, what we do, the supplier collect the taxes to the taxpayer and regular and make the payment to the government. Where it is in section 9(3), generally receiver has to liable to pay the taxes. Supplier is not collect the taxes. Suppose, for example, I give that generally has to mention the examples here, but due to lack of time, no problem. Next class we'll take with examples how to prepare this RCM invoice, how to make the supplier invoice. That also will take that. Just I give a small example of this today. Suppose say supplier say 10,000 rupees of the mobile he has purchased. It's suppose it's any goods like RCM goods or something in the RCM services. Supplier issue the invoices of 100 rupees. The normal rates of the taxes are 18% and 12%. Suppose he collect the 18 rupees at 18 rupees. It's a regular basis of the business. But it come to the reverse charge. The supplier issue the invoices only 100 rupees. Is not collect. But the taxes has to be paid to whom? The reverse charge. In the course of the reverse charge, recipient, the receiver has liable to pay the tax. Supplier issue the invoice 100 rupees and the recipient, he take that goods and receiving the goods or services, he make the payment through only cash. That's why there is no evasion, there is no leakage of the tax part revenue. The government has implemented section 9(3). So I mean immediately government will collect that revenue, it will collect the taxes from the recipient. So that is come to the again. When it has to pay, again we have to go back to the time of supply. That I come to next course. Down the slides are there in time of supply also. So section 9(3). Government may be recommendations of the council by notification specify the categories of the supply of goods. You say here categories, specify the categories of the supply of goods and services. Note that point. Specify, it's not all goods. There is any lacuna. Some of the goods or services, it's not coming to the government to the revenue. That's why government has notification. Specify the categories of the goods. Specify. Only it's a few of the goods and services liable to pay the reverse charge. Tax on which shall be paid on reverse charge basis, where the recipient of such a goods and services are both. So why it is called a both? Here it's a goods and services are both. Sometimes that effect in the both the goods and services may be implemented in invoice. That's why always we have to call supply of the goods and services are both. The recipient of such a goods and services are both, and all the provisions of this act shall apply to such a recipient as if he is the person liable to for paying the taxes in relation to the supply of such a goods and services. The relation, see, we have to read the GST law again and again, then only we'll get the actual scenario of the GST. Well, coming to this, and generally I told very clear, this is benefits of the RCM. Government will get the revenue very immediate, very next day. Once if you receive the goods, we have liable to pay of this coming month. So he get the cash revenue. It's not in the, we cannot adjust the credit. See, generally in the GST, in portal, just you see that there is a 3 categories of the ledgers. One is electronic credit ledger, electronic cash ledger, electronic liability ledger. What is mean by the electronic credit ledger? That I come to that also. Electronic credit ledger means when you get the, maybe buy the material, suppose if you buy the goods, then automatically that ITC, input as credit, it comes under our portal. automatically it comes to my, that is accumulated ITC. So regularly we are paying, we are getting some material, regularly we procuring the material, regularly buying the material, that whatever we have paid the taxes to the supplier, that is there in our portal, our GST, our number, whatever we have the number now, that is if we are in our portal, there is a one electronic credit ledger. That's always whatever you paid the amount, it comes to my electronic credit ledger. That amount accumulate. Suppose there is no output, there is no outward supply, then the credit ledger, it goes up and up. It's a thoda increase jada. I say the increase the credit ledger, it may be it's accumulated every month. Suppose 2 months continually, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, we don't have any sales. We are procuring the material. Whatever we have paid the taxes to the supplier, that accumulated ITC, it's within our ledger. That is called electronic credit ledger. That is called ITC of the whatever we have procured the material. Coming to that, electronic liability ledger. What is that liability ledger? Electronic liability ledger means that whatever output, whatever sales, we have given some output supply, that's a output supply that we have to liable to pay. Suppose say our inputs are only 100 rupees on that 18 rupees. That same goods we have sold out, we have sold that 150 rupees. Then how much you have to liable to pay? 18 rupees already our ITC 18 rupees. And coming to the our liability, it comes to the 26 rupees. Say that 26 rupees. Then 18 plus 27 rupees I have liable to pay. So that 27 minus 89 rupees I have liable to pay. That is called electronic liability register. Once if you are showing there in our regular returns and R1 form, that automatically this much of liability you have to liable to. Whereas in my credit, it comes to the only 18%, my credit ITC is there 18 rupees, whereas our output liability is the 27 rupees. The liability of the register, it comes to the 27 rupees, and we have adjusted the 18 rupees and remaining balance, we have to pay the liability. That whatever is there in our liability, it comes showing there in electronic liability register. So there is a three. One is credit ledger, liability ledger, and third one is a cash ledger. This whatever amount, this comes to why it is come to the cash ledger. So section 9.3 speaks, section 9.3, we have to liable to directly to the cash only. It's not to the, we cannot adjust the credit. That's why government are getting this benefit. There is some specified goods, there is a lacuna is there, some nexus of this. Whatever that items of the category of the, some of the goods and services are there in some, there is some lapses of the collection of the revenue. That's why some notification of the goods taken into the section 9.3. So coming to the 9.3, we are paying the person liable to be revert charge. Okay. That's clear. Now, what is the category? What are the specified that services and goods? Come to that. Before that, just adding that 1 or 2 points. Any taxes, rate of taxes, or any amendments through government through notifications only. Through notifications only. This is notification 01/2017 while implementing of the GST 1st July 2017. They have given some notification 01/2011 CTR. CTR means central tax rates. So the government has fixed some, these are the goods, also goods are in the, you fix some rates, 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%, and 40% plus cess and so on. So they have added, they have given specific notification issued, that is 01/, that is related to 01/2017, 1st July 2017, that is well implemented of the GST, goods and service tax. Coming to 2017 notification. If any amendments, tax rates has to be changed or something, government has to, through notifications only, has to amend. CT is the old administration. There is 2 notifications regularly they issue the government. One is CTR and another one is CT. CT is the central tax. That is comes to central tax. It's related to act and rules. If any act change or rules change, the CT notifications has to be, they issue the notification. Coming to the any rate of taxes that changed, then notification through CTR, central tax rates. So already there 1st of July 2017, issued the notification 1/2017. There is a schedules like that 1, 5%, 0%, 0%, exempted goods like that. It's a 18%, 12%, 28%. That depends on the goods. Suppose say it's a cosmetic goods and luxury products all comes under 28%. Vehicles are also, it comes to 28%. So general goods, see it's a general goods all comes under 12%. So depends on 18%. So the notification through rate of taxes will be fixed. Like that, we have to keep it in our mind. 01, 02, 03, 04, this is related to all these notification CTR, it comes to the goods related. 11, 12, 13, these are all comes under services related rate of taxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, very easy to understand, just I am telling very clear. 1, 2, 3, 4, these notifications comes under goods. Maybe you are aware about this GST Act. So you go for through notification, 1, 2, 3, 4 in comes under goods. 11, 12, 13, it comes under services notification, services rates. Now, rate of taxes through goods, some of the goods are comes under RCM. That is 4/04/2017. That is a reverse charge mechanism, has to liable to pay the taxes. Reverse charge mechanism. Section 9(3) speaks about the only reverse charge, RCM. I tell you again and again, RCM is the reverse charge mechanism who has to liable to pay the recipient. The goods are received by the receiver, he has liable to pay the taxes. That's very, keep it in mind. This is very important. 9(3). Only supplier. There's a two systems. One is NCM, normal charge mechanism, RCM, reverse charge mechanism. Normal charge mechanism, it's only supplier has liable to pay. Whereas in its RCM, the recipient, the receiver of the goods are liable to pay the taxes. That's very important. Just get now coming to the 9(4). What is this guys? What is this 9(3) ho gaya? 9(3) RCM. What is the 9(4)? Earlier in the GST implemented in this, if we have a unregistered dealer, suppose say you, I am a taxpayer, I'm a registered taxpayer. I go for something, I want to buy some stationery items like ledgers. I want to pay the stationery books, pens for office ke liye main just I want to procure some goods of 1 lakh rupees. Books and everything. The one new financial year, I want to change my books. So I want to change this, my stationery. So I go for unregistered dealer. Unregistered dealer. That means he has not registered in the GST Act. So I go for that and I will buy something, it's a 1 lakh rupee. And then the other side of the supplier is the unregistered dealer. Then what that case, who has to pay the taxes? Recipient. Here the section 9 word speaks recipient. So government, that's you, whatever I seen this the slide. First I cut off that. First initial says 1/7/2017 to 12/10/2017. Even the taxpayer, registered taxpayer, he buy the goods from the unregistered dealer, is liable to pay the taxes. That is it. Just I go through the central tax in respect of the supply of taxable goods and services, both by the supplier who is not registered. Suppose say the who's not registered, the registered person shall pay the such a person on reverse charge basis. This is the initial stage is there. Initial stage in the means the wise were implemented by the government of the GST Act, Goods and Service Tax Act. That is 1/7/2017 up to 12/10/2017. Any registered taxpayer buying the goods from the unregistered dealer, then he has liable to pay the taxes under reverse charge mechanism. So earlier stage is there. Then after 9(4) very clear. That's I cut off that just after 12/10 it's removed that unregistered dealer. But other recommendations of the call 9(4) is there. Builders के लिए और भी है. Builders can now, it's a new implement, reverse charge has to be the recipient only builders. That I come to the, I'm not going for this. I go for, it's a lengthy subject. I don't go for this. A lot of confusion is coming out. So section 9(4) speaks about this unregistered dealer selling the goods to a registered dealer. It's up to 1/7/2017 to 12/10/2017 liable to pay the reverse charge under section 9(4). Coming to the 9(5). Government made the recommendations of the council notification specify the categories of the services, intrastate supplies which will be paid electronic commerce operator. These are e-commerce, Zomato, Amazon, all these are people, not? These are also paid the reverse charge mechanism. Okay, this is 9(5). That also I come to that. This is the only the after that implement first stage, there is no reverse charge of the e-commerce operator. Then in due course, recently they has implemented e-commerce operator also has to liable to pay the RCM. That coming to this provided 9(5). We don't want this now. This is the 9(3). Now it's already RCM. We have spoken. We have discussed in RCM, reverse charge mechanism and normal charge mechanism. Normal charge mechanism, what? Regular course of the business. That means regular course of the means just supplier collect the taxes and pay to the government. RCM here, the supplier is not paying the taxes. The recipient has liable to pay the taxes. Very important. Just note down this point, RCM and NCM. RCM means it's a reverse charge mechanism. The recipient has to liable to pay. Suppose sir, आपने बोलता है sir recipient. Suppose recipient is not a registered dealer. In that course, he has to liable to pay tax. He has to take the registration. No, there is a threshold is there. Threshold is there. No, it's not required to pay the taxes. Suppose C2C, that is called a C2C, customer to customer. See, customer to customer. I'm going to that. I want to go buy something about the goods from the see some industrial goods or something. It's general goods. It's the unregistered deal purchase, and I am also unregistered dealer. So no need to pay any taxes to the government under GST law. Both are this. Sir, apne supply kar rahe. What is he? But he's already paying the taxes to the government. Why? Where the supplier is procured the goods from some other person, third person, he already paid the taxes to the government. See, I'm the threshold limit is the 20 lakhs in particular in Telangana, but other states have a 40 lakhs threshold. But here in Telangana, only 20 lakhs. I'm an unregistered dealer, a small shop, a stationery shop, or small industrial goods, and whatever. I don't have any registration. Then I sell the goods to some other unregistered dealer. There is no GST. While in the supplier already he's purchased the goods from the unregistered dealer, registered dealer only. Already he cannot avail the ITC also. So that is a different scenario. But it comes to the CTC, where it comes to the CTC, then there is no tax of the GST. Now it comes to the, so this is 9(3). Following goods and services notify the government and which reverse charge has to level. Right. So cashew nuts, first entry number, serial number in category of the supply of the goods, cashew nuts, net shield and peeled. Here it's a very clear. You just listen. Cashew nuts, not shield or peeled, and it's not open. That raw material, that is whatever cashew nuts is a raw material. If we are not opening, nothing process of these goods, nothing process. Just we have whatever from the agriculture. So whatever growing crop, what we call the growing. The similar as it is, he sell the goods to the any registered person. He just receipt of the goods. Here these in column C, serial number 1, category of the supply of the goods, supply of the goods, supplier of the goods, and recipient of the goods. Just here, supply of the goods, who's the supplier? Agriculturist. Suppose he do the business, he the growing the crop in the cashew nuts. See, somewhere there in cashew nuts, most of the cashew nuts are importing. Here in some India, some places are there in it's a cashew nuts crops are there in some different places. Agriculturist, he's growing the crop. He's doing some job in cashew, developing make it in cultivating the cashew nuts. Agriculture is the supplier is the agriculture. But where the recipient of the goods, who's the recipient of the goods? Registered person, just done. If he's a registered person of GST number, if he's having the GST number, he has liable to pay the tax under reverse charge mechanism. Suppose say 1 lakh का goods लिया है agriculture से, registered person. How much amount has to pay? As per the notified by the rate of tax, the 18% or 28 or 12, whatever is noted by the government, suppose say 18%. Immediate. Suppose today I have to take today as he has to collect the taxes and paid the amount to the agriculture, paid the amount that day itself, we have to take the book entry, and when immediately we have to, within 30 days, we have to pay to the taxes to the government. Within 30 days, we have to liable to pay the government. Suppose today, what is the date of this? Today is the 25th. 25th, you have procured the goods. Under a book entry also today itself, we have entered the goods. And next month, we have to report and pay the taxes to the government. To buy us. To cash only, it's not any, we cannot adjust the amount for the credit. We have a much amount is there in our credit ledger, but we cannot adjust it to our credit ledger. Where we get the credit ledger, electronic credit ledger. Not only this cash units, we have procured other goods also, other items. We have accumulated ITCs there. We cannot adjust. That's why government has implemented for the RCM. It's easy to collect the cashes, easy to collect the revenue from the recipient. Immediately has to be liable to pay any registered person. Suppose आपने बोलता है क्या sir, agriculture is the unregistered dealer, but is not a registered dealer. Recipient also unregistered dealer. But what is that scenario? Here it comes to C2C, customer to customer, customer to customer. But in that case, there is no tax involvement of the GST. He is also unregistered dealer, customer also unregistered. In that case, there is no tax, right? That is the first point. So why not come to the BD wrapper leaves and HSN? These are also any registered person only. BD wrapper, suppose say it's a BD. BD in the means it's a one of the tobacco. Come to the tobacco leaves. These are also any registered. Suppose say in tobacco leaves. Suppose we are growing crops of tobacco. ITC people are the registered dealers. ITC, Indian Tobacco Company, the registered dealer. Regularly they buying the goods from the agriculturist for tobacco leaves. From there say in Andhra, there is a big company of ITC. ITC regularly procure the goods from the agriculturist only, regularly. For that case, the ITC has liable to pay the taxes under reverse charge, RCM only. What is the rate of taxes notified by the government? Either 18 or 28. What is the tax? So 12% or 18% or 28%. Generally, these are the goods that comes at a higher rate only. This is not as consumer goods. So these are the unwanted goods like the tobacco, cosmetics, like that. There is luxury goods. So that's generally these luxury goods are comes at 28%. So ITC is the ITC. So it's ITC means it's the Indian Tobacco Company, not input tax credit. Okay. The ITC has to pay the reverse charge mechanism through cash only, ठीक है भाई IT से क्या payment कर रहे हैं ना, what happened that amount? So he can take the credit. He can take the credit in our books, that amount, whatever he has paid to the department, the amount, whatever amount is laying in the cash ledger. That is laying it with the cash ledger. We have already discussed 2 ledgers in our taxpayers ledger, 3 ledgers in our system, in our portal, the registered taxpayer portal. 3. One is electronic credit ledger, electronic cash ledger, electronic liability ledger. Electronic credit ledger is a regular procurement, it's accumulated ITC. Even though if we have in the credit ledger, recipient cannot adjust the credit. You have liable to pay. Again, it's through cash only, right? Liability, suppose that cash can adjust in our output liability. Whatever credit, suppose say my credit is there in 100 rupees, my cash ledger is in 100 rupees, my liability it comes to 300 rupees. So we can adjust at that 100 ITC, 100 rupees cash. That liability of the comes under other 100 rupees liable to pay the government. That cash, whatever amount we have paid there through the RCM, that we have liable to, that comes under electronic cash ledger only. It's not an electronic credit ledger. That tobacco leaves. Silk yarn, there is the HSN code. The person who manufactures the silk yarn, the raw silk, silkworm, cocoons for supply of the silk yarn, the raw silk, any registered person, suppose say It's a big textile company having the registration, is the registered dealer. Then he procured the goods from the silk yarn. Those who are the manufacturing of the silk yarn, that silk generally, you know, that pattu purugulantam, that he manufacturing of the silk. So that is something he buy thing, again he has liable to pay the any registered person only. Just you go for an upper, here recipient of the goods, who the recipient of the goods, where he is the registered dealer only. Just you noted this point, where he has a registered dealer only. If he is an unregistered dealer, again customer to customer, then there is no tax. So he only registered. It's very clear. Any registered person. Coming to the raw cotton. Sir, what is the silk yarn and raw cotton? Cotton means it's a patti. So where it is agriculture, it's regularly in the areas in Telangana, most of in the rural area, they are cropping and growing and so only raw cotton. That again registered person only. Again, registered person, they textile company. Regular Reliance wala, there's a local Reliance local textile company. The procuring the cotton from the agriculturist and make the payment to the government through under RCM. Then he claimed the ITC. Whatever ITC, whatever RCM he has paid to the registered person, then very immediately he take to that that ITC through cash and adjusted in a future liability, adjusted to the future output liability. Supply of lottery. This is very important. All of the state government or union territory or local authority with the supply of lottery. What is this, sir? Kaha bhi nahi hai lottery ka abhi. 30 states may still they are running by government only. There is no lottery is not running by any private companies. Only state government or UT or local authority has to issue the lottery tickets. To whom? To whom? Lottery distributor or selling agent. A state government and suppose Telangana, there is no, that's it. Kerala lottery, you see that there it's a selling the distribution to the lottery, selling the agent. Say, 10 lakh ka tickets deta hai, that 1 crore ka tickets deta hai. To whom distribution deta hai or selling agent. But who has to liable to pay taxes? Recipient here, recipient. See that Lotteries and Regulation Rules 2010 and subsection 1, section 11, Lotteries and Regulation Act 1998. The recipient, the distributor or selling agent. Suppose they inka agent ka state government say apne 1 lakh ka, suppose he has taken some tickets. Who has to pay? Selling agent has to liable to pay the revert charge. But he's eligible for an agent. He's having other ITs also then he can make it to the whatever amount is paid to the revert charge mechanism, and whatever amount is there, he can adjust in a future liability. He can eligible for ITC. Now, coming to the 6. Used vehicles, seized and confiscated vehicles, used goods, waste and scrap, and HS and NA modes. Here also it comes, central government having so many scrap vehicles, so seized goods, some confiscated. Sometimes after the duration of the time or something is happened, confiscated. Suppose in a catch kiya hai, search kiya hai, or seizure kiya hai con goods. So the concerned person is not coming to back, and then the seized goods, whatever it's a confiscated goods, to government go for auction. Government the use for that he want to sell the goods to that central government or union territory or local authority. This type of goods, any registered person has liable to pay the government and take the credit as usual, right? Next. What is this priority sector lending? System what is priority? Government, the banks are giving some certificates to the customers. So who has to liable to any registered person? Suppose say today nowadays security certificates, everything paper certificate, lending certificates. Now it comes to currency. So any registered person who wants to make it in some priority sector lending certificates, then who has to pay? Any registered person is liable to pay the taxes. Okay, this is very important. These are comes under goods. These items are goods. We have to GST means what is that GST? Goods and service taxes. Earlier we have so many taxes. All this are merged with the GST. So many tax. All this purchase tax, all these taxes all come to the one in one area, that is it's like goods and service tax there. Okay, coming to this. This is very important. This is recently it's open. Supply of the goods and services both. 9.4 we have discussed in section 9.4. 9.4 already omitted and deleted by the government in 12/10/2010. Then after, so 110 to this come to this promoter of the builder, he has liable to pay the taxes. Okay, capital goods foreign promoter coming to the 9.5. So 9.4, this is already this section government may notify the goods and services, which is the e-commerce operator will liable to pay the GST instead of the supplier of the goods like Oyo, Swiggy, Zomato, Uber, Ola. All these are comes to the recent implemented by the government. All this has to liable to pay. This is the e-commerce platform. The liability to pay this is the operator, e-commerce operator liable to pay the tax. Okay, these are the percentage of the e-commerce operator. Who has a personal liability to pay tax? Any person, supplier of the services, any person, transportation of passenger by the radio taxi, motor cab, maxi cab, motor e-commerce. Who's the operator of that particular platform? He has to liability pay the tax as a commerce operator. This is a very important, very recent amendments has came that this has liability. Okay. Sir, goods ka ho gaya. Now we are coming with the services. So now again, whatever I am told now, that's meaning of the applicability of the RCM, meaning of the reverse charge of under in case of normal taxable supply, supplier issue the tax invoice to the recipient and receive the amount from the recipient along with the GST that then discharge the GST liability to the government. This is a regular course of the business of the all the GST, regular course. That is called now I discuss NCM, normal charge. It's not forward charge. We call the normal charge or normal charge and forward charge. That means here it's a supplier has liability. Supplier is raise the invoice to tax invoice and make the payment to the government directly to the government. That is discharge. Who has to discharge in this regular course? Forward charge, regular course. This supplier has liability. In coming to the reverse charge, that already I have discussed again. I'm repeating that for the to keeping on. What is the reverse charge? What is the reverse charge? Why it is continuing? So reverse charge is a different scenario of the coming different scenario compared with the forward charge. Supplier shall not charge us GST on invoice. See, suppose say if you purchase something, goods like that, is not issue. Supplier like that, suppose used vehicle. Supplier not issued any invoice. So simply he is the only he give the invoice for the 1 lakh rupee of the amount whatever supplier has received 1 lakh, not collect the taxes. Who has to pay the taxes? Who has to pay the taxes? The recipient, receiver of the goods has to liable to pay the taxes. Very clear, right? These are notifications. Already I have discussed the notification. Government of the recommendations of the GST Council notify the goods and services which shall be liable to be taxed in hands of the recipient under the reverse charge mechanism. Notification numbers. I told you very clear. Notification is very important. Students, I tell you very clear. If any payment to make the payment to the government through notifications only, without notification, without change this, we cannot pay that. Notification specifically, they mentioned there that these are the goods are this much of amount, this much of the tax rate is fixed by the government. Accordingly, we have to make the payment. Suppose 28%, suppose we have paid to the 12% pay karna hai, 18% pay karta hai, aisa nahi hai. We can't chalega that one. We have to liable to pay whatever is there in the fixed by the notification, that amount you have to collect and pay the taxes to the government. So regular basis and forward charge, supplier has to liable to pay that. So there is a time of supply and that is different is there. That also I come to that. I covered that para also. The specific time schedule also is there. That the government on the recommendation of the GST Council notified the goods and services which shall be liable to be in the tax to the hands of the recipient under reverse charge. Notification number 4, I told very clear. Notification number 1, 2, 3, 4, it comes to the goods. 11, 12, 13, it comes to the services. 1, it comes to the goods. Notification number 2007, 2/2007 comes exempted goods. That is called exempt. There is no tax on that notification. Say specified goods. Specified goods, so and so items are not taxable, not taxable. Coming to the 4. What is that 4? 4 comes to reverse charge taxes. That is the reverse. Already I have discussed in cashew nuts, priority lending, and this is silk yarn, cotton. All these are vehicles, and all this comes to reverse charge. Who has to pay the reverse? Who has to pay the liability of the tax? The recipient liable to pay. That recipient also only registered person. I'm talking the registered person. If he's not have a he's not a registered person, no tax. The CTC that comes to customer only. Customer to customer, there is no tax. Only this. Only if a registered person, then liable to pay the taxes. Very clear. Done. 4/2017 already discussed. Coming to this is a very important topic. Notification. Notification 13/2017 central tax dated 28 June. The cases of the services amended from the time depends. See, you know that every month, the GST committee will discuss about the updates of the GST, tax revenue, if any changes, any difficulty of the taxpayers, and all this they discuss and they come to the one amendments will updated. And there may be changes that change tax rates also has to be changes to amendment time to time. Sometimes earlier you see that initial stage of the good GST implemented, the taxes of the many of the goods are under 18% and 28%. Many of the goods are 28%, 18%. Then depends on the situation, public scenario, the public, they are the pulse of the public and taxpayers, they come down to the 18 to 12, 28 to 18%. Most of the goods, lot of amendments. That all these decisions are taken by the committee only, time to time only. That amendment, whatever he has done, committee has taken through notifications only, through notifications, without any amendments, any changes in law, through notifications only. So everything has to be, committee has to, whatever it changes, through notification. Committee has discussed something, but without notification, we cannot change the tax rates and all this. Very clear. Clear now? None. Already we have discussed 9.4. It's again that comes to 07/2019. It's implemented. The GST class of registered person category of the goods and service recipient of the supply. Why it is to I am reported this slide. 9.4 already it's omitted, removed by the from 1/7/2017 to 12/10/2017. Then after what they have done, notification through 07/2019 central tax, 29th March, the builder case, it comes to the constructions of the any residential building, he has to some liable to pay the taxes. It's continue like that. This is very important. Services noted under RCM. Now already we have discussed about the goods. Catch my point? Yes. Services received by the service goods reserve charge. What is that? 7 category of the goods are liable to pay the reverse charge, only the registered person. Coming to the services. These are the services are comes under reverse charge. Sir, क्यों ऐसा only 30 items से क्यों लिया है? What is the purpose of this? These are the items are there is a chances of the evasion of the revenue. So only few of the items, services are taken into reverse charge mechanism. That is there. DTA is very important. Legal services, arbitral tribunal, sponsorship, services by government and state government, services by transfer of SDR. This is called a TDR. TDR means it's a government. It's a TDR, the transfer of development rights, leasing services, services by directors, services by insurance agent, services by recovery agent, music composer, services by author, services by member of the overseeing committee, DSA, direct selling agents, business facilitator, and security services, services by renting, and so on. So, right. So these are the services comes under RCM. The latest, this update, this one, the 19 items are comes under RCM. Okay, done. I come to the in detailed analysis of this. So GTA, what is that GTA? Goods and Transport Agency. GTA means a person who provides a service relation to the transport of goods by road, issue the consignment note. If we give the GTA giving the services to the some registered person, there is again 2 options. GTA के लिए 2 options दिया है. Either again it's a reverse charge mechanism and forward charge mechanism. GTA is an option to take. Either you raise the invoice and full invoice the 12 by 12%, that is comes on forward charge. and comes to the reverse charge is a 5%. There's optional here, it's given to the government in the GTA ke liye. So that is either you pay the 5% or 12%. If you take, if he wants to charge the 12%, that is a regular tax invoice course. And then RCM. So reverse charge. Who has to pay the RCM? Who has to pay the RCM? See, that I am suppose I'm a registered person taking some service the GTA, but I have to pay the receipt. I have to pay the taxes on this whatever amount GTA consignment note, whatever amount is there, that you have to liable to pay at the rate of 5%. It's a RCM is the 5%, forward charge is a 12%, right? GST rate of GTA services below rates are applicable to one of the GTA is registered under GST. There are two options available. Already I discussed very clear. 22/2017, notification number 22/2017. Option 1, rate of 5% without ITC. Explanation to the 11/2017 dated 28th June. If the goods and services are exclusively utilized for the providing the GTA services, entire ITC shall be ineligible. Whatever ITC, see generally in a regular course of the business, we take the ITC. Where we get the ITC, our goods received, whatever goods we have received, that whatever ITC, suppose say I'm an industry, I have some factory, I have one factory, I'm regularly procuring the material of the raw material regularly. Then we whatever material we have, whatever amount we have paid to the department, whatever paid to the supplier, that ITC have to take the credit. Then credit accumulated in my cash ledger, my credit ledger, electronic credit ledger. Already I told it's 3 ledgers are there in my system. That is electronic cash ledger, electronic credit ledger, electronic liability ledger. That credit already accumulating. So that's a regular. Then whereas in my outputs are there, then we adjust in ITC. Here, in case option 2, paying the 5% of the without ITC, that is means without ITC, but he is not eligible for ITC. In regular business, we are claiming ITC adjusted through my output. Where is in here without ITC? Suppose a GTA operator is taking some goods like the tires and all this, it's some ITC is regularly coming. He cannot utilize that. Input goods or service exclusively utilized from GTA service, the entire ITC shall be ineligible. If input goods or services are used in the partly for taxable supply, partly for GTA services, then is a proportionate, he has to take that. Coming to the GST rate of 12%. This is already I discussed 12% when it case the 12% has not opted to pay tax. I told you very clear, only for this particular in GTA service, a lot of confusion it's happening in the GST law. So who has to pay in 12% or it's 5%? What is this going on? See, forward charge it comes to 12% and reverse charge it comes to 5%. The applicable recipient is liable to discharge of the GST liability 5%. Recipients of the liability is applicable. The GTA person, if he is giving the regular GTA services charging of the 12%, then that case, so it's not RCM ka jarurat nahi. Then RCM is applicable, the recipient is liable to discharge of the GST liability. Suppose these are the conditions. Factory registered under Factories Act, society registered under Society Registration Act, cooperative society and established under any law, any person registered under GST Act, body corporate establishment is under any law, partnership and casual taxable person. What is meaning of casual taxable person? But again, that is a one subject. See, casual taxable person in the person he has doing the business very coming to the different state, he has to do something. Suppose say in Nampally exhibition, he is conducting some business in the 3 months or 4 months. That is in the casual trade. It's not a regular taxpayer. He come and he wants to sum the goods to the local state. It's within the state. So that case, he has to take the registration. In that case, he has to take some services from the GTA. He has to procure goods from the railway transport. He get the goods from railway store. Some then he wants to some goods has to be from railway go down to railway, whatever it's a railway station to from either a place of supply. Then that case he has to pay some GTA. That case is also he has to liable to pay the tax under 5%. These are the A, B, C, D, E, F, G. These are the registered persons as liable to pay under RCM. And ITC availability, recipient shall be eligible for to avail the ITC. See, what are I am a registered taxpayer, I am paying to the RCM, I am eligible for that ITC, the GST paid and RCM used for outward tax bill.
Well, may I interrupt you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is now time is, of course, you can check up the time.
Wow, how many minutes are left, sir?
No, as per you, because if you want to take it.
Just I tell you, this is the only fun, only.
Yeah. Please continue. Please continue. Please continue.
Remaining all, it's we can.
Yeah.
Right?
Please continue.
Yes, please, thank you. The RCM of used for outward supply. The GTA services provided an unregistered person. This is very important again. The GTA services already have discussed. This is exempt. See, I am the CTC, I am the customer. I don't have any registration. Then in that case, so need to pay any taxes. GTA services provide to an unregistered person except the categories of the recipient specified in point number 3. In point number 3, what we have discussed, the registered tax person in factories, registered partnership, business entity, all these are comes under registered entity. These are all, it comes under, and point number 3 is the registered and exempt when it is a unregistered person. Okay, refer entry number 21A. Okay, exemption of the GST in cases of GTA services. So on so, right. This is very important. Sub log, whatever it's all the areas are covered under have to pay the revert charge. No, in through specific notification. 12/2017. Now we are discussing now in the services 11, 12, 13. 11 is the taxable services. 12 is the exempted services. 13 is the revert charge services. So 11 taxable services. 12. So the what is 11, 12? 11 is the notification. 11 is the notification. 12 is the notification. 13 is the notification. 11 taxable through taxable services. 12 exempted tax services. 13 is the revert charge services. So these are the items: agriculture produce, goods all concerned in charge in the transportation of goods. These are all the items: milk, salt, organic manure, newspaper, defense of military equipments. You are shipping the military equipment from one state to one state. So regularly, if they're transporting them from goods to military equipment to one place, they need transport charges. Suppose in the military having the own vehicle, the different way. Suppose he wants a special vehicle, specialized vehicle, to moving from a rail or moving to some other specialized vehicles, then that is also exempted for GTA. Government department, this also is exempt. We are giving the services to the government. GST shall be exempt from the GTA services provided by way of transport of goods carriage. This is specified in everything. Whatever is this exempt, what are the tax, everything through notifications only. The government has to give the notifications, through only we get the exempted or taxable. That decided by the committee or government. Notification number 28/2017, 31st December to the refer entry number 21B is established. It's exempted. Department of Establishment, Central Government, Government of UT and so on so. So which has taken the registration number CGST Act only for the purpose of the TDS under section 51 of the making the taxable supply of the goods. Again, in the TDS section 51 is it speaks, that is a different subject. One day we'll take the old TDS and TCS. One day we'll speak the section 51. That is the entire 1 hour class, we'll take that. That's a very important topic, TDS, when it is applied for TDS and TCS. Okay, that will take in separate class. Whether GTA is liable to be registered under GST, any person shall be exempt from the obtain the GST registration if he is engaged only making the supplies of taxable goods and services, where he has to supply of the RCM. Notification number 5/2017. So hence GTA is not required to obtain the registration if he is exclusively engaged in the GTA services. The recipient under RCM, even if the turnover crosses the even. This is very important, this one again. So GTA के लिए registration लेना है नहीं जरूरत नहीं है. Why? If he is, even though if you have the threshold he crosses, why he's doing in the exempted services only, na? So shall be exempt. Okay. So whereas he's giving the services to only for exclusively engage the GTA services. That's why he has not required registration. ठीक है चलो. GST applicable hiring of the vehicles by the GTA and exempt of the hiring. This is only general I am given. I give the notes. If you are much interested to read this, very important this whatever I have given. Okay, I skip this slide. Coming to this legal services. Second one is what? Legal services. Meaning of the legal services. See, I'm advocate giving the services to the someone like a taxable, it's a registered person who has to pay the taxes. I'm giving the invoice of the 1 lakh rupee to the registered person. I give only invoice. This much of amount, my charges are 1 lakh. Who has to liable to pay the tax? The registered person, the registered tax GST taxpayer. So he has to pay the taxes to the government. But he can avail that whatever amount he pay to the department, that he can avail that amounts. So I raise the invoice only 1 lakh rupee, and whatever is the tax rate is applicable through notification that he has to the dealer, the taxable person, the registered GST person has liable to pay the tax. This is legal services providing the individual advocate, including the senior advocate, form of the advocates to a business entity. The business entity shall be liable to be discharge of the GST liability under RC. Sir, क्या है अभी registration चाहिए legal का? नहीं चाहिए, advocate का जरूरत नहीं है, but straight away the registered person. So there is a why it is, sir, but he has some advocate is crossing the more than 20 lakhs, but he has giving some services to the some like by outside services, high court service or some service to the registered dealer, giving to the opinions to the registered dealer companies. So why it is not? That is a specific notification issued by the government under 12/2017. Advocates not required to take the registration. That's clear, right? So advocates, that is the facility has given like that. Earlier also we have spoken GTA services, only specific in the only GTA services. It's not required. Why it is not required? The other side of the recipient is liable to pay the taxes. ITC availability. Coming to this, so ITC available. Recipient shall be eligible for avail. Here it's eligible for, suppose whatever amount paid to the government that he can take the through cash, whatever he can adjust it in through his output liability. Coming to the exemption from the GST in case of legal services. Legal service exempt from the GST provided by the individual advocate, including a senior advocate, the person other than a business, any person other than a business entity. Business, see, I am giving service to one family person के लिए एक छोटा सा advice दिया है. He is not a business entity, then that case is exempt from taxes. He cannot claim, he cannot pay the taxes. So I give an opinion to the one family issue के लिए मैं advice दिया है. I have given opinion. I have a civil opinion दिया है, criminal opinion दिया है. That case there is no tax on that. Is the C2C. Again, it comes to customer. There is no liability. The business entity with aggregate turnover up to exemptions limit specified the registered under GST. Again, the same question, the threshold, the registered person, whatever he is doing some business, fabrication, trading, whatever he doing manufacturing, but he is there in under threshold limit, is no need to pay any taxes like that. The central government, state government, suppose I am giving a service to the some high court के लिए कुछ advice दिया है, someone has given some state government ने कुछ opinion दिया है, then on that case also. So there is no GST. So senior advocate provides the legal service to the advocates. The firm advocate shall be liable to GST. This is very important. My bold joke here and a note. Just I give it this whatever this one. Go through that. It's a very important this. Net arbitral tribunal. Meaning of the arbitral tribunal. I'm giving some such arbitral. The arbitral tribunal, they collect the taxes. Suppose say in one company giving the service business entity. Always we have to call the business entity. If there is any business entity or a registered dealer, then the recipient shall liable to be discharged the liability. Okay, terms and conditions, eligible automatically again, whatever amount he has paid to the department, then he is eligible for this. Exemption of the legal services. Then just it comes to the sponsorship. Now this remaining all, it comes to very fast. Sponsorship includes the naming of the event after the sponsor. Suppose any business sponsoring the prizes, trophies, in competitions, and these are also sponsorships. This is liable to pay. I'm a business entity paying some sponsorships to the, then the recipient has to liable to pay the taxes. So GST payable in RCM sponsorship, yes. Sponsorship services provided by any person, the body corporate or partnership firm, then the body corporate and partnership firm recipient shall liable to be RCM. This is very important. Again is eligible. So GTA also eligible and this also eligible, right? Coming to the exemption from GST in case of sponsorship. Yes, some of the cases, there's a National Sports Academies, Association of Indian Universities, Central and Civil Services, Culture and Sports Programs, and National Games, and these are all. And suppose giving the services to the government and overall government, then is exempted. There is no receipt, there is no tax on under RCM. Very clear. Now we are discussing a simple way, very simple. We have two taxes. First one already we have discussed direct taxes, indirect tax. Now we are discussing of the indirect taxes, collect and pay the government. In indirect taxes, in particular this today's topic, reverse charge mechanism. Reverse charge mechanism, there is in this today levy and collections, two types of. One is the normal course of the action, normal course of the taxes, and another is the reverse charge mechanism. So now it's going to reverse charge mechanism. There is a 13/2017 specified item services. There is a liability to pay the reverse charge mechanism. Just I'm repeating for that whatever we have discussed that. Right. Services by the government and state government, local authority who has to pay the, if any business taking the some services like ROC charges or something, taking the services from this business entity, paying the taxes, fees and all this. So RCM has to be paid and take the liability, take the credit. RCM. ITC availability, yes, 9.3 availability of this. Come the below services are excluded from the RCs, renting of the services, therefore the respective central, renting of the movable property, services by the, this is very, very important. Services by the Department of the Post, by the Speed Post Express parcel service. This again, they charge for us. Suppose if you have the Speed Post have done, they charge 5%. This is a government quantity, but even though he has charged for us and have to pay the tax. Suppose say income tax department is there, he is sending the notice through by Speed Post, who has to pay the this in certain cases. In certain cases, income tax department sending the post by Speed Post through postal, they are taking the department of the postal. In that case, income tax department have a special exemption through notification. This is called a notice. Excluded from the RCM, therefore, respect of the state government. Renting of the movable property and services by department or services related to the aircraft vessels also. Exemption from the GST on service provided by the central government. Already I have spoken to you. Already I have discussed regarding this, right? Services of renting is coming to this. Services by transfer of TDR. This is very, very important. Meaning of the TDR is the FSI. The certificate of the municipal corporation. Suppose one builder has giving the some constructing the building. He wants to take the one more floor. He wants to construct the one more floor through TDR. It's a special transfer of development rights. You take some development rights and he wants to contract the only government municipal authority has given only 5 floors. Suppose the builder he wants to construct one more floor. Then he make the payment TDR. For on TDR, he has to pay the some reverse charge, floor space index, whatever the TDR has to liable to pay. These rights and certificates can be sold to the builders who has to use the additional construction of their property. Additional that what I have discussed. So property reserved for purpose of the public utilities such as road and gardens and so on. So whatever maybe. So municipal corporation, whatever amount we have paid to the government or municipal corporation as additional construction that liable to pay the reverse charge. This is GST payable RCM of TDR. Yes, payable by the promoter 18% notification by the dead end. So ITC recipient shall be eligible for avail the ITC of the GST paid under RCM used for outward taxable supply. See here again ITC available when it only if is outward taxable supply he can adjust that. Okay, right. Director. What is director? Service by the director. So he is also one of the in company. Is the director is giving services to the company. Is a liable to pay RCM? Yes. Some cases he has liable to pay the services. Suppose if he is considered as an employee, there is no GST. If he is considered as an employee, making the 192 section 192, he is deduct the taxes. Then no need of the TDS, there is no RCM. If you give the extra service, liable to be discharged, GST liability service provided their directors and RCM 18%. And specific circular as issued, the position of the GST on the services by directed by the company, taxability shall be decided by the mainly two broad aspects. Whole-time director, managing director shall be considered as an employee. The company and the company GST provision is not applicable in case provided the tax rate TDS 192. What is TDS 192? Salary. Director, if he taking the salary from the company through deduction of the section under section 192, then is not paying the any liable, not liable for RCM. Through again 194 means what? He is doing 194J means he's doing some services to the company, that is called a consultant. Then he is liable to pay the RCM. This is very, very important, right? Coming to the, so recipient shall be eligible for ITC. Whatever amount he has paid the RCM forward charge, then he is liable to pay.
Excuse me, sir. I think time is, it's now
Sir, I'm
11:30. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we will continue in the next class. Yeah,
Yes.
we continue in the
I go for this, just.
Okay. Because the students.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. So this is services by insurance agent. These are again, it's liable to pay the insurance company. Services by recovery agent. This is also important. Who's the recovery agent? The bank. Suppose if any banker has appointed of a recovery agent, then the banker itself has to liable to pay the under section 93 RCM at the rate of 18%. The banker. This is a recovery agent, right? Music composer, photographer, artist. But who's the company has to, this is very important. Suppose I am a fashion, this a music. I prepare music and photographer, artist like that. Who has to pay the tax? Who has to pay this? Again, the taxes has to be paid by the music company, producers. This company has to liable to pay. I'm a very passionate of the music and sing a song and all this. Then who has to pay the taxes? All this music company. So who has between the music company and the artist, the contract between the individual person and this company, the whatever amount he make the payment to the individual, then the music company is liable to pay the taxes, right? Service by author also similar lines. This is services members of the overseeing committee. This is very important. Then we don't have time now. Then we discuss about this other 13, 14, 15. These are all in business facilitator. These are direct selling agents. And coming to this overseeing committee we have to discuss almost 10 to 15 minutes. Again, it takes time. And direct selling agents, business facilitators. This is service agents by business correspondent. Security services, very, very important. Giving the security persons, giving the services to the companies, then who has to liable to pay the person? If he is the unregistered dealer, suppose I am a registered dealer, I am giving the invoice and full invoice, and the company also is a registered dealer. In that case, corporate, body to body corporate, there is no tax. Suppose I am the registered dealer, I am a body corporate, giving the service to individual person like a proprietor concern, even though if he is the registered dealer, okay, I am a proprietor concern giving the service to the body corporate. But I am a registered dealer, even though I am giving the service to body corporate, the company, the body corporate has to liable to pay the tax. This service renting of motor vehicle. So this is very important. And
Sir, we will take up in the next class Sunday because we can make it as a RCM 2. Okay, RCM class 2.
Okay, sir. Right.
Because it's already 11:30.
Right.
The students also being holiday. That's all. And
Right.
yeah,
Sir,
shall
close
we?
it, sir.
Yeah, close it and we'll.
Prakash, giving
all
this.
the participants, I think it is a very elaborative, and then he treated all of you as tax practitioners. It is, and you see his enthusiasm, and he covered it in a technical part of it, technical terminology. I want you to expose you to that an extent. You feel that you are a tax practitioner, not as a tax, I mean like accountant. General accountant is a different. We all have to now. I request all of you to open up the mics, unmute the mics, all of you. Please give him a big hand. We will continue this class in the next session. All of you, I want you. because we are actually so thankful to him. He's for his laborious work on this, and he made so many slides. Okay, so thanks and చెప్పండి అందరూ. Sorry.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
You, okay. Thanks to all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andy. Okay,
Thank you, sir.
we will
Okay,
have it in
we
the
can
next.
quit- We can tweet.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.